Good morning. We get to talk about as part of this path that is infused with so much goodness. So we're working with Four Noble Truths, moving into the Eightfold Path, divided into Sila Samadhi Panya. We'll be looking at Sila, the part of the path that starts to shift our heart towards wise action, wise speech, wise action, wise livelihood. And the way that I like to think of Sila is an image that I got from one of my teachers. And I think I mentioned it last week. It's this heart that's ethically attuned. So sometimes Sila is talked about in terms of morality. We can have a lot of different connotations and associations with that word that are positive or negative. I really love a heart that's attuned in an ethical way. There's something very visceral about it. And just think about it, like, just as the eyes can see and the ears can hear, the heart can actually attune to, resonate with, just as like a cello or a viola can resonate with a room. The heart can start to resonate with ourselves, loved ones, strangers, animals, all life on this planet. And in the process of our hearts starting to attune in this ethical way, we get curious about what actually supports the health and well-being of myself, of other people, of other beings, all life. And then what supports the health and well-being of not only myself and other people, but just all life. Yeah. So through wise speech, wise action, wise livelihood, we're learning to attune to and like see what's actually beneficial. And this is why Sila is sometimes considered a perfection of the heart. By perfection, it just means bringing this quality to its full maturation, its full strength. So one of the reasons Sila is considered, or this ethically attuned heart is considered a perfection, this strength that we bring to full maturity, is because it's infused with compassion. It's actually seeking what is for the welfare of all beings through not causing harm. And we've all felt this. We feel this in our daily lives. We feel it when we're on retreat, especially in retreat, because it's as if we're immersed externally in a field of non-harming, right? As everyone is doing their best to embody and live into the precepts. And that's no small thing in this world, right? I was raised in a home where the precepts and harm was, the precepts were broken pretty frequently. And one of the reasons I have so much gratitude to the Dharma and my friends in the Dharma, my mentors, is that they helped me learn how to relax a hypervigilance that I'd become habituated to because of just living in a home where the precepts were broken pretty frequently. So we can be immersed in an external field of Sila, of what's wholesome, this not causing harm. And we can immerse our own heart and mind in this internal wholesomeness, this internal not causing harm. It's as if the body, the heart, mind are softened by this lack of inner turmoil, of just not having caused harm. There's a real absence of inner turmoil that can be cause for celebration. In fact, the Buddha encourages us to be mindful of, reflect on, and rejoice in the freedom from remorse that arises from not having caused harm, the freedom from remorse that arises from being in alignment with our ethical intentions. I want to read you something from Ajahn Sucitto. He wrote a really small pamphlet called Samadhi is Pure Enjoyment. And this is what he has to say about Sila. He says, our effort in mindfulness is to maintain integrity in terms of bodily action, words, and even intention, then to recognize and draw on the uplifting qualities of such conduct. We dwell on the heart-opening effects of recognizing that no creature need mistrust us. Isn't that beautiful? We recognize and draw on the uplifting qualities of our words, our actions, and our livelihood being in alignment with a heart that just doesn't want to cause harm, that is seeking what is beneficial for all beings, for all life, for all things. And I love that he's pointing to that it's heart opening and that we just rest in our own trustworthiness, the trustworthiness of others. I remember traveling in Thailand with Bhante Buddharakkhita. I don't know if you've met Bhante Buddharakkhita. He's this monastic in the Thai force. No, I don't know which tradition he trained in. He's from Uganda. Bright, like he smiles and it's like the sun radiating. And he invited 7 people of African descent to accompany him to Thailand to celebrate Vesak or Wesak. And Wesak is a holiday celebrated in Buddhist countries that celebrates the birth, the enlightenment, and the death of the Buddha. So we're in Thailand, and the people that we met were so trustworthy. And it's so kind of different from my experience of being here in the States when I'm with a large group of Black people in the outer world. Sometimes we can be met with suspicion or just looks, and people, their eyes and their gaze like lingering on us a little longer than is actually normal. So I remember being in Thailand. There are 7 of us Black people walking around, practicing, going to different museums, different temples. And they would see us, and they were happy to see us. They were delighted to see us. And they were curious about us. There wasn't any suspicion. And they'd check in with us, and they'd be like, oh, you're Buddhist. And they'd be so happy that we had come to their country to actually and nourish our own hearts with the Dhamma. It was so different, and it was such a beautiful experience of being in a country where there was, and I'm not saying this like Thailand is like safe for all beings, but for me as an African American woman, being in Thailand and feeling the external sila, the external lack of harm, curiosity, happiness at seeing us, really helped my heart to relax. And again, I just want to read this quote from Ajahn Sucitto. Our effort in mindfulness is to maintain integrity in terms of bodily action, words, and even intention. Then to recognize and draw on the uplifting qualities of such conduct. It feels good to rest in a heart that seeks for the benefit and welfare of people. He goes on to say, we dwell on the heart-opening effects of recognizing that no creature need fear or mistrust us. So Sila is not only a protection for others, what I was experiencing in Thailand, it's a protection for ourselves. It's a source of wholesome joy that if we recognize it and we're mindful of it and we rest in it, we feel our own trustworthiness, and it actually can lead to full liberation. And there's this sutta that talks about the cascading effect of behaving in ways that are ethical and these wholesome mind states that kind of emanate just from tending to this ethical attunement, and it leads all the way to liberation. And perhaps we'll have a chance to explore that next Tuesday together. But this resting in our own trustworthiness, resting in the trustworthiness of others. The Buddha called this the bliss of blamelessness. Yeah. This gladness, that happiness that just fills the heart, fills the body, fills the mind when we are living with an ethically attuned heart. Let's go ahead and play with this in our practice.